Private evidence that is being submitted by veterans is not being considered when it goes into the raters inside of the Department of Veterans Affairs. They are not taking into consideration the evidence. They are just flat out denying people, and it is not right. It's time that we take action. It's time that we speak up about this. This is why I'm doing this live stream right now. It is not fair to every veteran that does not get handed the playbook, does not have all the keys to success, does not have all the tools in their toolbox, does not know exactly what they're doing upon transition out of service into civilian life, or after that they've transitioned, they don't even get the proper help. And then the help that they are allowed to get, they submit in, and then guess what? It's denied. It's not even taking into consideration whenever it comes down to the narrative. It's just totally flat out ignored. And VA, shame on you. That's not right. That is not right at all towards veterans. If it is a legitimate DBQ, if it is a legitimate Nexus letter, if it is legitimate, if all of the evidence was considered, if it's rightfully so, and a board certified, approved doctor, psychiatrist, whoever is able to fill out that disability benefits questionnaire or write that Nexus letter, it should absolutely be considered. Why is it being overlooked? Why is it not being considered as part of the evidence of a veteran's claim? It is not right. And lately, we've been seeing this troubling trend. The VA is dismissing private DBQs and Nexus letters, sometimes without even explaining why. They are marking things fraudulent sometimes whenever a provider is outside of a 100-mile radius. But let me stop right there and tell you this. You are allowed to use a private DBQ. You're allowed to use a Nexus letter because from who you can get it from, because not all doctors know how to do this. Let me give you an example. A veteran, let's call him Johnny, submits his claim into the VA. They throw their claim up, they walk into the VA clinic that they're told to go to in their jurisdiction, or to the DAV, or whatever they do, or they throw up their claim themselves. But let's just say they walk into a VA clinic. You submit up your claim. You are not allowed, they are not allowed to help you with a Nexus letter. If you get denied, go and ask them. Go ask a VSO. Can you help me to find a provider that can fill out a private DBQ for me or a Nexus letter? They don't tell you that. They just tell you that you need a Nexus letter, because the truth is their hands are tied, and that is garbage. And here's this other sad part, is the same people that you get help from inside of the VA, your primary care doctors and stuff, they can't write a Nexus letter or a DBQ neither. They don't do it because it's a conflict of interest. So therefore, the veteran is left searching for a doctor that can link it together, that can link their service connection together, rightfully so, because guess what? They are diagnosed for sleep apnea. They are diagnosed for maybe chronic fatigue. They are diagnosed, maybe they have a mental health condition and they need to be able to get it connected. The only way that they're going to be able to get that connected is through that Nexus letter or disability benefits questionnaire. And guess what? If they go to their personal doctor and a personal doctor does not know how to fill out a Nexus or a disability benefits questionnaire, then guess what ends up happening? The VA denies them. VA, why don't you give us the proper help that we need? Why don't you give us the playbook on how DBQs are supposed to be filled out in Nexus letters? You know why? Because you don't want veterans to have the ratings that they deserve, and that's junk. That's not right at all. That's not fair at all. We're the ones that raised our right hand and said, yes, I will. I'll serve this country. So we should at least be able to get the benefits, or at least attempt to be put in the best position to get the benefits that we deserve. It's just garbage that we aren't. So here's what happens. Maybe it's you. Maybe you submit a well-documented, clearly written letter from a licensed doctor, and the VA acts like it's complete trash. Shame on you, VA. They say things like not VA format, insufficient rationale, provider is not credible even when they're board certified. Heck, today somebody got denied for sleep apnea. The evidence from that he submitted proved the point, and they didn't even consider it. So now guess who is on the chopping block? The veteran. Guess who has to suffer? The veteran. Guess who has to go through and do a higher level review, and who knows, wait another 3 to 5 months? The veteran. Why? Because the VA just flat out did not consider the evidence whenever that veteran had all of the evidence and their ducks in a row. that veteran had all of his ducks in a row, and you still flat out just ignored and dismissed the evidence. The only thing that a veteran has to their right to be able to help them. Look, if you don't have it in your active duty medical records, if you don't have sometimes in-service treatment, stress, or diagnosis, it is by law that we are allowed to file a secondary claim. It is by law that we're allowed to file an increase. We are allowed to file for presumptive conditions. And when we get denied, we have no other choice but to use an outside provider. And not all doctors, maybe in each veteran's jurisdiction, know how to write and fill these things out. So it's not fair. So let me be clear here. This is not just frustrating. It's a form of gatekeeping, right? It keeps vets from getting the ratings and care that that you and I rightfully deserve. Let me throw this scenario out there. The VA, what do when they send you for a compensation and pension exam? They contract, they pay VES, Optum, LHI, they pay them to perform a medical evaluation on you and fill out a private DBQ for whatever condition you're going for. They pay them. They get paid. That doctor gets paid. Whoever that contracted doctor is gets paid. So the VA pays them to make a decision, and the veteran doesn't even know it half the time. The veteran just comes in, they submit up their claim, it goes to a rater that works for who? The VA, right? And then they give that file over to a CMP examiner. And here's another unfair thing. The rater don't even give all the evidence over to the CMP examiner half the doggone time, and half these veterans just walk in there blindly, have no idea what they're even supposed to think or do or say. There's no guidance at all. They're just thrown out there to the wolves. It's not fair. It's frustrating. It is a form of gatekeeping. It's unfair to the veteran because while we're on active duty, who talks about VA benefits? Who talks about that, right? But then when the veteran comes out after they serve this country and they've got PTSD after 20 years of war because we decided to have a war with Afghanistan and Iraq because of these things, and you have veterans that are suffering from the aftermath and the effects of war, you're going to have that. Now you want to gatekeep the benefits. That's what's happening, right? And guess what? It keeps the veteran from getting the ratings and care they rightfully deserve. But let's just beautify things. Let's have a horse and pony show. Let's be bureaucratically correct and say that, oh, we're helping veterans. Okay. No, help us out the way that we deserve. Why are you dismissing the private evidence? It makes no sense at all. The DBQ, or disability benefits questionnaire, is the form that helps the VA evaluate your condition. Okay. But here's the kicker. It doesn't have to come from a VA doctor, but yet that is one of your only rights, but yet they're still ignoring it. It's garbage. You can submit a private DBQ from your own provider if they know what they're doing, someone who actually knows you in your medical history. You can, but here's the problem though. If it's not filled out properly and they don't know what they're doing, guess what? So guess what? If somebody does know your history and they do have all the evidence and they do have all the facts, then guess what? They can write a Nexus letter for you. They can fill out a DBQ for you. They have every right to it. Does not mean that it's fraudulent, right? A Nexus letter is just as important. It's a statement from a medical professional connecting your current condition to your military service, and it's often the missing link in a successful VA claim. So again, what is the issue? We're seeing this troubling trend. The VA is dismissing DBQs and Nexus letters without even explaining why. And then the veteran has no clue. They provided all the evidence, but it just got flat out ignored. Let me share some stories that I've heard, okay? One vet submitted a Nexus letter from a neurologist with over 20 years of experience. The VA still denied the claim and never addressed the letter. Another brother had a private DBQ that perfectly detailed his PTSD symptoms. He had in-service treatment, stress, or diagnosis, even had a combat infantry badge, denied because the VA examiner disagreed. Gatekeeping, favorable. The common theme, veterans are being told their private evidence doesn't matter, and that is wrong in some cases. That is not right at all. Okay, so what can you do if the VA ignores your private DBQs or Nexus letters? Always upload your evidence on va.gov or submit through an accredited representative in writing and keep a paper trail. Continue to get the treatment that you need. When denied, request a higher level review and specifically say the VA failed to consider medical evidence. Number 3, include a statement in support of claim, VA Form 214138, explaining the credentials and credibility of your private provider. Number 4, if necessary, appeal to the Board of Veterans Appeals. That is my last option. They tend to weigh private evidence more fairly, but I hope you don't need to go that route, because if you did, then you're going to be waiting years. So file a supplemental claim, file a higher level review, get a strong advocate, right? Very, very, very very, very important to have someone who knows how to fight back. This system can be beat, but it takes persistence and it does take knowledge. It stinks that we even have to go through that, because look, we served our country. We deserve fair treatment. And when the VA starts ignoring legitimate medical evidence, they're not just breaking trust, they're breaking veterans, right? But we're not going to be silent. We need to keep on pushing. We need to keep educating. We need to keep speaking truth. If you've experienced this, you're not alone. If you've been denied or you don't know how to navigate that appeal process, reach out, share with us, share your story in the comment below, connect with others, but don't give up. Keep fighting for what is right. It's not fair that we are going through this and that we are having to deal with this stuff at all, but they are flat out ignoring things. You have a right. If you do need a Nexus letter or a DBQ and you need it from a board certified doctor, look in the description of this live stream. It's here. If you're just hopping on, it's going to be here when I get off as well too, but they can't flat out ignore it. Submit the evidence that you can. Make sure it's done right. Make sure that your Nexus letter is done right, because if it's not done right, it's not going to get approved. Right? I want to be very clear about this. The Nexus letter is a medical scientific backed research paper proving how something is caused by service. It's linking it together, whether that's secondary, whether that's a huge gap in time, gap in space, or maybe you got denied and you have a favorable finding. That's what the Nexus letters are for. The disability benefits questionnaires are for each individual condition, and that's how your rating is derived from. If it's musculoskeletal, it's got range of motion questions and many different things for the doctor to fill out. If it's mental health, it's got your rating on there. It's got your symptoms. It's got all of those things on there. This is public access available to you. It is available to you. You can't access it. Just Google DBQs. Okay. You have the right to get a private outside one. You may need it in some cases. If you don't have the right evidence though, and it's not filled out properly, and maybe your private doctor don't know how to do that, then guess what? You get denied, which stinks. And then you're on the chopping block, and then you got to wait. And then it's just another clown show of you waiting. It's not right. This is costly to veterans, and this is absolutely unfair. And I just want to make people aware of it. Make sure that look, if you are using a company or something like that, make sure that you're getting the evidence in your hand. Don't let anybody not give you the evidence. If they do that, or they're not going to give that to you, do not utilize that. Make sure that you're educated in the process as you're submitting your claim as well too. Don't sit here and use people that are not educating you in the process and walking you through how, why, educating and teaching you on what you need to be doing. That is the importance of all this stuff, is that you need to have the evidence. You need to have the stuff that you deserve to have in your favor, in your hand, so that you're in the best position to win your claim. Nobody's trying to manipulate anything. Nobody's trying to do anything unfairly. Whatever it is to put you in the best position, we need to absolutely be able to do that. We need to be doing that for each other. If you need help, reach out, 904-605-0431. If you need help, we are fair. We want to make sure that you get the help that you need. Okay. We're trying to help out as many veterans as we can every single day. That's our mission. That's our goal. We are all veterans serving veterans, and we really care about you. You served our country. That's what this is about. We got to take care of each other. We got to. It's too long. It's been too many years, from Vietnam to Gulf War to Desert Storm to you name it, to Iraq, Afghanistan, and so on. Even today, if you've raised your right hand, you deserve the benefits that you deserve. It's time that we lock arms and that we come at this thing together, and that we educate each other, and we stop being silent about it. Quit winging it. Listen, these local VSOs and all this stuff and everything, most of you VSOs and stuff like that are garbage. It's garbage the way that you do veterans and stuff. Just today, a veteran called, right? They were only diagnosed and stuff. They were only diagnosed for PTSD and tinnitus, right? They don't even have a Nexus letter or anything like that. The VSO filed for a higher level review on one thing, and they filed a new claim for headaches, and the guy was never even seen for headaches while he was in. He don't even have a Nexus letter. He don't even have a diagnosis. None of it. None of it. They just threw it up there. That is a disgrace. That is pitiful. That is not right to our country's veterans. That's not right at all. When the guy called me, I'm like, what in the world? Who filed this for you? This is trash. And how are you going to file an appeal? And then you're going to file another claim that you have no evidence, you have no diagnosis, you've not even been treated for it, and you're just going to throw it up there to get that veteran out of there. That's wrong. While you, VSO, whoever the heck you are making $60,000, $65,000 a year to throw up a bunch of garbage. It's not right. It's not fair. Veterans, you got to keep fighting. Make sure that you get the help that you need. If you don't get the help that you need, then you're going to be in a tougher position later on down the line. It's just going to keep delaying, and then you're going to create a bunch of evidence, more evidence that is just stinking unnecessary. It's worth it to get the help that you need on the front end. Every piece matters. Every single thing matters. Verbiage matters. Even when people are coming squared away, they're still getting denied flat out, straight up getting denied. It's happening right now. We're seeing it. Dr. Sharma and I, myself, we're looking at it, and it's not right. Look, nobody's here to try to manipulate a system. If the evidence is there and it can be done and the evidence is able to be proven and it's a legitimate issue, then the veteran should be able to get that rating or that benefit that they deserve. They should be able to get it. That's what these benefits are for. We across this country waste money on unnecessary things, on so many doggone things that are just irrelevant and stuff. But yet veterans, we don't even want to help them. The ones that say, yes, I will raise my right hand, the ones that are buried deep in this ground, and the widows and the family members that are left to grieve for ones that have sacrificed everything for this country, everything. Yet we don't even hand them. Ashamed. We should be ashamed. That's not right at all. You guys deserve and can have the private medical evidence that you need. Get it. Just make sure it's honest, integral, accurate, and make sure that you have the treatment for it, okay? Don't use anybody or a company or something like that winging up something. Make sure that your evidence is there. Make sure it's substantial. Make sure it's factual. Make sure it lines up. Don't come doing a headache and you ain't never complained about a headache in your life. You ain't even getting treatment from the VA. You're not even getting any sort of medication beside over-the-counter Tylenol. Don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure your treatment lines up with what you're trying to do, okay? Then it's irrefutable. Make sure the Nexus letter, the DBQ diagnosis, if you don't have it in your active duty medical records, is squared away. Because if it's not, you still may have a hard time. I'm just letting you know things are getting harder. Some ratings are changing, as we know, sleep apnea, tinnitus, and all that. But look, don't be scared of it. File the claims that you need. Now's the time to file. Get your claims in, but get the help that you need. Don't ignore it. You guys deserve it. Keep going. The biggest enemy against veterans, I'm going to explain this right here, is time. The more time that you waste, the more time that gets in the way, the harder that it becomes to climb that mountain, the harder it becomes to get that rating that you deserve. I'm just telling you, get your claims in, get the help that you need. Don't wait. Again, if you need a Nexus letter, if you need a DBQ, look in the description of this video. I just want to point you in the right direction to honest, integral, board certified psychiatrists, doctors that can absolutely help you and put you in the best position. You guys deserve that. Make sure that you get that, right? And don't go out here getting screwed over by every ad that you see on Facebook and all this other stuff. Be careful with who you get to help you and stuff. I'm just telling you, that ain't any haterism. Just make sure that you get the right help. Make sure you're educated, knowledgeable. Make sure you get all your evidence. Make sure you know what's going in there, and make sure you know why, because it is your claim. You're your best advocate. Get educated and stay educated, okay? So if you're just tuning in, the VA is ignoring evidence, and it's costly to veterans. They're flat out ignoring clear evidence that is proving its point, not even considering it, just throwing garbage reasoning in there, not even including it in evidence. And the veteran is just flat out getting denied for it, in return having to wait longer, file a higher level review, and just sit there and wait and go on that appeals list. It's not right. We got to keep fighting. That's what's going on. If you've just tuned in, I appreciate you. This video will be on YouTube. as well. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Stay tuned. We're going to keep things coming at this channel. We're going to keep things up to date. We're going to keep things as we see them. We're not here for clickbait. We just want to make sure that you get the help that you need. Okay. I want to answer a couple questions. JW119. Do you know anything about trigger finger C and P exam? If you still can somewhat close the fist, but stiff every mornings and here and there throughout the day, do you think that is 20% rating? It can. It's all going to be on your range of motion, okay, of the trigger finger. It's going to depend if you can grip or if you cannot grip certain things. I just want you to know that. Also, JW19, you can look at 38 Code of Federal Regulations about how the VA rates trigger finger. Very, very important. The 38 Code of Federal Regulations, you can look at how they rate trigger finger, okay? And that'll give you a great explanation as to, and a good idea of where your rating should come back at. I just want you to know that. It's very important that you know that, okay? The VA doesn't have, but let me be very clear here. The VA doesn't have a specific disability code for trigger finger. What they do is they rate trigger finger based on its impact on the ability to move the finger. So again, the range of motion, often comparing it to carpal tunnel syndrome under diagnostic code 8515. And the ratings range from 10 for mild incomplete paralysis to 70 or 60% for complete paralysis, depending on JW119, whether the affected hand is dominant or non-dominant, okay? All right? That's the way that they rate. There's not a specific diagnostic code. I want you to be very clear. It is your dominant hand. It's going to depend on your range of motion. And also, I don't know, yes or no, if you have paralysis or not. But if you do have paralysis in that dominant hand, it could be a higher rating as well. And they're most likely going to do it under diagnostic code 8515, according to the 38 Code of Federal Regulations, just so you know. That's the way that it's going to go. If anyone else has another question, I'm going to answer it before I hop off of here. But thank you. Love you guys. Thank you for your service to our country. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep going. Let's keep staying in the fight. We deserve this. This is not right. It is not fair to me and you that evidence that we have our rights, that they are just flat out not considering it, okay? It's not right at all. Stay tuned. Stay in the fight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I don't see any more questions. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your service to our country. Like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, share this out with someone that can use this information, and stay in the fight, okay?